All right, man. Welcome back to the Geekset podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building, and this is 101 with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, man, I am speaking with a true legend. I know a lot of y'all was excited when y'all saw me post up the little flyer that I'm interviewing him, but I got the big homie, Roy Wood Jr. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's happening, man? How you feeling, brother?
Man, you know what? I'm feeling blessed and highly favored, man. You know, I get the chance to speak with dope people like you, and you know, it's a wonderful day. I'm out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now.
Oh man, 414 in the building, man. I
Hey,
only been up that way. Um Shit, I got rolled by a pimp in Milwaukee one time.
was it Pimpin' King?
I don't know. It definitely wasn't pimping Ken. This dude was definitely a double A pimp. He was in training. The nigga got my ass though. I don't even remember the name of the spot. It used to be a comedy club called the Comedy Cafe. It was on off Brady Street.
Okay.
And that was just like a little, I don't know, just a little juke spot up the way. We wasn't in the hood, but you could tell this is a spot where black folks come
Yeah.
and fuck with. Man, you know how you be vibing with a girl, and keep in mind, I ain't never. This is my first time in a pimping city, but you know all this Detroit, Chicago, you know all that fucking Lake Michigan niggas, y'all. I'm dancing with this chick. This is like 03, 04 for context. I'm 42 now. I was like 23, 24. I ain't know the game.
Right.
Me and this girl dancing. We danced for like 3 songs straight. And I'm like, it's on. And she go, all right, baby, go get me a drink. I go get a drink. And I'm at the bar and I'm waiting, waiting on the bartender, whatever. And some new nigga come up beside me. He go, yeah, you like her, don't you? I go, what you talking about? Red dress. I go, yeah, man. I'm trying to see what's up with that. Well, for $200, I can answer the question. I go, nigga, and you know, you try, like my Alabama brain could not. Like it was like one of the times where, like, when you ever seen like a white person when a black person say some slang to him, and they, well, I'm sorry, what did you? I'm going. So the thing he can tell I'm slow, and so he cock and reload. He go, what I'm saying, young brother, is that for $200, I can make sure that this night ends the way you want to. And I go, man, I ain't got that kind of money. This nigga look up at red dress, give her the cutthroat, you know, and she rolled her eyes at me and walked the hell on. And I'm like, that's it. That's
not a good ending.
Then the bartender came back over and go, here you 2 drinks, nigga. Where my money? I'm like, this is
I got you for the
cold game.
man,
The point being, man, respect to Milwaukee and an honor to meet you. Thank you for the invitation to run my mouth about whatever the fuck you niggas talk about on this shit. I like talking and I like running my mouth. And you seem like a good brother. Your type of email that was short and polite, and that's enough. That's enough for me.
man, you know, that's one of the things I tell people. So in this world of like everybody doing podcasts and things like that, so I really started interviewing people during the pandemic, and it was one of the things where I said that I told my podcast, group, I said when the pandemic slows down, I want us to be in a better place than we were going into it. And I was like, one of the things
Respect.
I want to do is I want to interview some people that I think is really dope and give them an opportunity just to chop it up, talk about stuff that they don't normally talk about, and which we'll get into. But I tell people often ask me like, man, how you get all these people? How do you get so many people? I'm like, I literally just reach out, but I don't get offended if they say no, not at the moment. Let's schedule for later on. It's like it's all about how you have that communication, because some people they see that and then they be like, oh, Roy Wood, he brushed me off, and I'm just like, you're not gonna make it anywhere with that type of mentality. You got to know how to communicate with people, and you got to be flexible with people, because these people have other things that they're doing in their life. So it's like I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
you just even like I think when I first hit you, I hit you via DM because shout out to Tahir. I did Zooming with the homies, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like just me and him chopping it up." And I respect a lot of the people that's on that platform. So I'm like, "Man, you think if I hit Roy up?" He was like, "Yeah, just hit him up." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I just DM'd you, and you was like, "Here, Here's my email. Email it so that way I can get you on the books. And it was just like, it was just that. It was just
Yeah, them DMs wild. If it's some business, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
yeah.
Cause it it's it's respectable people like you. It's some folks laughing at something I posted, which is cool.
Mhm.
Then I got people who don't fuck with the Daily Show sending me, fuck you, liberal nigger. You got your usual nigger DMs. Um, and then you got the hustles. Um, click on this link and give me the money because all I need is $5 more to get the dream. So we had to get out of that. But yeah, man, honored to be here, man. I just like the thing that I've tried to do is make sure I'm sitting down with folks that's talking about some different shit or talking about because what I'm trying to avoid, and I just don't think people get this sometimes. It's boring for the guest of a podcast to come on a podcast and talk about all of the same shit that they talked about on all the other. You got to cover the basics. The audience doesn't know who you are. You introduce yourself. I get that, but if for a whole hour we hitting all the same shit that I talked with another nigga on for an hour, then what you're doing isn't specific enough, bro. And that's not interesting to people. It don't help me. It don't help the people who rock with me. I got fans, I think. Like they probably want to know what like I want people to see my name on certain podcasts and be like, what the fuck he doing on there?
Right.
Let me see what kind of geek shit he on.
Right. And that's the biggest thing of it because I tell everybody, I'm like, people have their press runs that they're doing. But when they're on their press runs, they're talking, like I said, they're talking about the same shit. But what I found out is that there's way more black geeks in the world, but they don't never have the platform to talk about the comic book that they grew up on and they loved, or the video game that they connect with, or whatever the case may be. Like just even doing like random research and stuff like that. Like you were on Twitter saying that you want a live action Ninja Scroll. And I'm sure a good chunk of your fan base was like, wait, Roy Wood, he fuck with anime? It's like shit, obviously it's like that's a good one. That is an OG one. That is one that is like if you fuck with Ninja Scroll, like you got a good that's a good start right there.
I had a roommate in college from Racine,
Hey,
ironically. Um, and he put me on to anime. He put me on to that. He put me on the Wu Tang, pretty much all that East Coast. Like I was on my South shit when I got to college. My freshman year was '96, so we wasn't fucking with nothing that wasn't South
right, yeah,
because we was just now getting on. So Wu Tang, fuck out of my. And then I was like, all right, I played it. Let me borrow that old dirty tape, nigga. See if I'm gonna just put that in my Walkman real quick on the way to class. Like you had to act like you ain't like it. But I'm from that era where cartoons was for play. You know, I grew up where anime like that was a whole nother universe. You grew up in Alabama, you ain't got no access to that shit. It ain't coming on TV.
right,
And I grew up in a house. I pretty much grew up in a neighborhood where you could afford either comic books or baseball cards, but you can't afford both.
right,
And so, I chose baseball cards. That's what I was into. And then, I'm in the hood loving baseball. Don't nobody in the hood love baseball. Like you like baseball players,
right.
but the actual sport in the world and that's a tough sell. Um, so yeah, that was my thing. So everybody who grows up and I had this comic, and I remember when that comic, I have none of that shit, coach. All I had was Donruss, Upper Deck, and
Right.
Tops.
Yeah.
Them was my joints, you
Yeah.
know. And every now and then, if I had the extra bread from raking leaves, I would treat myself to a Game Pro or a Nintendo Power so I could see what video games was coming out.
Yeah. What was the first video game that you was like that you spent hours and hours upon? Like the game that you remember, like when you if you go back on and you're like, you know what, this game was pivotal to my childhood because I played so much hours of it.
So I got to shout out to homie Ronnie Chang, um, fellow Daily Show correspondent, and he's my office mate, pre-COVID or whatever. And Ronnie had put me on. So when the NES Classic first dropped a
Oh,
couple of years ago, and that was the PlayStation 5 that everybody was beating the shit out of each other to get. And, niggas was gouging them on Craigslist or whatever. I finally got one and I brought it to I'm victorious. Nigga, I got 30 games. Look at all these games. And I sat in the office, bro, and I played the OG original Tecmo Bowl
Oh,
all day on the clock.
on the clock.
And
Got paid.
now, now, in my defense, hang on, nigga. In my defense, as a correspondent at the Daily Show, you also have to do, if you're not currently assigned a segment that you're researching to go do or whatever, your job, you just need to be taking in the news and seeing what's going on in the world so that you can bring more pictures to the show. So while I'm playing Tecmo Bowl, you know, I get on my laptop over there in the cut because we had a TV in our office. On my laptop though, I got CNN playing and
Yeah.
I'm watching the local news and Iowa. Like that's my shit. I watch local news in other cities just to see what's going on. Like because within those local stories, I think it's stuff that connects to a national narrative. So like that's how I hunt for stories. So to answer your question, Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl is the first one that I remember that really started a buzz in the game. Mario was the shit, of course, but Tecmo Bowl and Bo Jackson was the best player,
Of
and
course.
Bo Jackson's from a suburb of Birmingham, so it was just this. I remember going to AG Gaston Boys and Girls Club, AG Gaston Boys Club, and we would have Tecmo Bowl tournaments, bro.
Yeah.
This is like fourth grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. There were full blown like brackets on the wall, and you would get called. Roy Wood and Tor to the Tecmo Bowl TVs. Your turn to play. And you would Tecmo Bowl tournaments the whole day. The winner would get like I don't know, like $5 to go to the corner store and get Laffy Taffies or whatever. But
It was
that
serious.
was the game. Yeah, yeah. That's the one. That's the one I can still pop in today, and I can still play it like I'm 9 years old, bro.
That's dope. That's dope. And I always ask that to people because everybody, even if you're not a heavy gamer, everybody has that one game that they're like, oh man, I remember playing that. And there's always a dope story to it. It's like it's just something that people will go through and everything like that. One thing that I did want to ask because it was one of the reasons that also that made me really want to interview you because in your Twitter you call yourself an ex Jedi, and I was like, so are you a huge Star Wars fan?
I'm casual. I've grown to appreciate Star Trek more,
Okay.
and one because I like what J.J. Abrams did with that franchise. I wish that he had stayed on board, but I get it. It's Star Wars. You got to go cook. You
Yeah.
know, you have opportunity to tell narratives in both of those universes. Okay, I get it. Um, I think that Star Trek connects more to the human condition and it uses the future to help answer or propose questions about who we are as a people right now.
Yeah.
And all of the spaceship and all of the aliens and the conflict, they're all parallels to what's happening, in the world now. Star Wars has always had the better video games. Star Trek games are fucking terrible. Like they're and I say that with respect to Star Trek fans, just because they were all strategy driven. Here's what I'll say: they didn't connect with me because I don't fuck with strategy games like that.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
They never played. Sorry about that. Scam likely just hit me. I got to start saving people in my phone as scam likely, so I just don't talk to nobody no more. Like I've just never identified with strategy games. Like anything with a card and Dungeons and Dragons.
Same
It
here.
just my brain just never connected to it. And I ain't shitting on it, but I just always appreciated that Star Wars video games was a standard issue, left to right, nigga, go this way
Yep.
and fuck up whatever. There used to, nigga, there used to be a fucking Star Wars arcade game where you had the X-wing fighter and it was a little X
Mhm.
on the screen and you'd shoot the TIE fighters. Like, you want to talk about some shit that I sacrificed snack money to play?
Right. Spinning out that arcade. You know what?
Bro. bro.
Black people in arcade, that's like it's like a lost history because they don't. A lot of people don't realize how much black people fucked with arcades because whether it is something like that, whether it was like the OG Street Fighter or the OG Mortal Kombat, just being there, spending so many coins just to so you can talk shit to the person right there, but you guys really having fun, like because we black people we gonna be passionate about whatever we on, like we gonna be
I
passionate.
got I got bussed out to a white middle school for sixth grade, only for sixth grade. It was
Mhm.
the only time I went to a predominantly white school in Birmingham City. And one of them niggas in the class, one of them white boys said, oh, no, it was black dude. It was my nigga Jonathan. He was passing out invitations to his birthday party. Now, you been to a nigga birthday party in the fourth grade, fifth grade. Hey, meet me at Chuck E. Cheese in the corner
Yeah.
by the rat, and then we gonna have a little table. Bro, this nigga Jonathan Effinger's mama. And this is the first time I understood like black wealth and that all black people aren't struggling because that's all I knew up until that point. Jonathan Effinger's mom rented out the whole fucking arcade at Century Plaza Mall, the Diamond and Gems, lower level, next to the McDonald's. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, man, come to my birthday party on Saturday. We're going to have the whole arcade for 2 hours free play. I
Sheesh.
say, I say, nigga, what did you say to me? He said, yes, the arcade that you go to all the time and be begging your mama for quarters. I go, yeah. Show up to my birthday party and any video game in there you can play as long as you want. And my brain couldn't process. It was like fucking. It was Milwaukee pimp shit again. Like I'm sorry. What, man? We beat Ninja Turtles. We beat the Simpsons. I beat Lethal Enforcers. Like I was
Classic games though.
I was, oh my god, dude. Yeah. That those arcade games, man. That always takes me back. Also, especially, the black barbershops used to have Galaga and Donkey Kong, which you wouldn't fuck with at first, but then you get bored waiting all day for your haircut. And
Let me see what this about.
let me go and see if I can jump one of these barrels real quick. This fucking monkey.
Did I forget the clacker out there?
You did forget the class.
I'm just gonna clap.
You had brought it too.
I know. I'm just gonna clap.
I'm mad because I was definitely expecting you to get it.
I mean, I
the
could
life out of me.
quickly go grab it.
Just clap. 1, 2, 3.
All right, man. Welcome back to the Geekset podcast, the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building. With me, I got my man Liv.
What up? It's Liberace. It's the Puerto Rican Santa. The spiccato playing, beat making, motherfucking legendary ass Puerto Rican. Sofrito Papi, and we back.
As always, I got my man Bacardi in the building.
Randolph today.
Konnichiwa, bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. I hate all of this. I hate all of this.
What's good, everybody? How we doing today?
And we got Didge in the building.
What is happening, people? What's happening, people? What is happening, people? What is happening, people?
He's out the booth.
But it's like I said, we are expanding. We are doing more. So they say make sure you go to youtube.com/Geekset. Follow us on all social media at Geekset Podcast on every social media. And rating reviews in, man. We are rating reviewers on Facebook, rating reviewers on Apple iTunes, rating reviewers on Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever platform you're looking at. Give us some ratings, let us know. And then again, this is the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. We are out.
Peace.
So you know what's funny? So you had told a story about how you got kicked out of school once or suspended because you brought steak knives because you thought you were being trying to be Wolverine in school.
I was Wolverine.
Was Wolverine?
First of all,
Okay.
I was Wolverine.
Right, you're right. First black Wolverine.
That was at that same white school.
Was Wolverine your favorite?
Yeah, hell yeah. I just didn't like how they made my man a chump all the time, crying over Jean Grey in the cartoon.
Oh yeah, they made him simple.
Yeah, he was simping hard. Never pulled her. Never pulled. And then right when it was about time, ooh, I'm dead. Sorry, Logan.
Did my man bogus.
X-Men is wild though, because that's one of those series where having grown up on the cartoon on Saturday mornings
Hmm.
and then seeing the films, you're like, oh, this shit was dark. Wolverine was really PTSD the fuck out, bro.
Man,
But in the cartoon, he was just running around. Just,
yeah. We thought we thought his darkness was cool. Like we thought because the way he was, we thought like, oh, he cool as shit because he. But he
I'm
really
like,
just
no, this fucking needs therapy, and he's trying to holler. And Cyclops is a piece of shit. Won't even get a man a hug or reach out or nothing. The dude was made in a lab somewhere in Taiwan or wherever he was overseas. Bro, that was a video game I didn't like. I beat it, but I didn't like it. Was the X-Men for Sega Genesis.
man, yeah, the one like the side scroller joint.
Yeah, and you had to go to the danger room and train and all of that stuff. And I don't know, the button control. That was god damn, I'm old. That was before the Sega Genesis went to the 6 button controller.
Yes, it was.
So it was a lot of 2 button pushes that you had to do
Hmm.
to execute. It wasn't just ABC, it was AB, AC, BC. You know what I'm saying? You have to remember all of that shit. Yeah, so that I remember distinctly.
Yeah.
I remember that, man.
That was it's funny because like though like so I remember that game vividly because I remember that out of that game that made me like Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was one of the dopest characters in that game because he can poof,
Yeah, teleport.
he can teleport everywhere, and I thought that was so fucking dope. But you know, even with X-Men, it's funny because like as you get older, like we didn't notice those racial undertones and that connection between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and mutants and like we didn't notice that as kids. And as you get older, you like, damn, like that shit sounds exactly like the shit we go through.
I think, but the authors and the creators of that stuff, bro, they were just legit. They were grown men. Like this shit was written during tumultuous time. Like when you look at the years in which a lot of these comics were created, like you talking 40s and 50s, it was going down.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit. Like that part of it, I get, but it's just weird now, which makes me leery of anything. Like, nigga, they took the Power Rangers and made them dark for that last
Yeah,
movie.
they did.
So anything that was fun, they can figure out a way to add some paint. Which I'm gonna just say it. I enjoyed that Power Rangers movie.
You did?
I didn't mind it. I
Okay.
didn't mind it. I ain't gonna say I liked it more than whatever the fuck that was that they did before.
Right.
I just say that.
Okay.
That's the simplest way.
The one thing I always ask about the Power Rangers, I'm just like, out of all the places in the cities, why Angel Grove? Why did they go to Angel Grove and fuck up that city? Out of all, it was like the whitest city. But then in the movie, they made it dark as shit. Like all these kids had some type of issue going on. I was like, damn.
Yeah, you didn't have to give him a bunch of super dark issues, but that's all. That's just all residual Christopher Nolan. There's a Christopher Nolan effect that happened to superhero films after Batman Begins.
Yeah.
That for the next 15 years, everybody is in pain and suffering and shit.
Prudence.
I think Hancock and Green Lantern were probably the only two
Yeah.
that were halfway okay.
Right. Speaking of superhero movies, so I believe Marvel owes you a check because you talked about this like in December. So in December, when all black people were saying that we're going to get our powers and everything, you had made a statement where you or a comment that you said that there's no money in being a superhero because everybody was asking, are you going to be a hero or a villain? You were like, there's no money in being a superhero, and you listed off all the people that are just really not getting paid. So I don't know if you watched Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, but in there,
No, I haven't.
Falcon, he deals with a moment where he's trying to get a loan from a bank, and they're like, "Hey man, so what you been doing this whole time?" And he's like, "What you mean?" He was like, "You got no money." He was like, "I mean, I was kind of saving the world and everything like that." I'm just like, "That's exactly what you were talking about."
So thankless. Oh my god, it's on my hit list. I've been so swamped the last month or so with a couple other projects. I haven't had a chance to like sit proper. I ain't even had a chance to dip into one division,
Yeah,
and everybody raves about that. I'm not a big fan of Vision as a character, so I think that's why I was hesitant. But everybody swears by it, so I'm like, all right. And I love good writing.
yeah.
Like aside from whether or not I like the character and the other thing, if you're telling a good story, I'll check it out. Yeah, there's no money in being a superhero. All them niggas is broke, bro.
Yeah. We think
They
about
all check to check,
it.
and I just don't want to live like that, man. I wanna live grand. I want to live
and
grand.
and when you think about, because I always tell people, like, when you, with the way black people's minds think, like, one, off top, we get superpowers, there's gonna be a few people we show it off, like that secrecy shit. That's really not for us, because there's gonna be a moment that you're gonna want to flex it a little bit, like, you know what I'm saying. So it's like that's gonna be hard for us,
And
right?
if not, one of your relatives gonna tell everybody that you got the power.
Somebody
My
gonna bet.
cousin gonna come over here with the laser beam and fuck you up. Wait till I call Cyclops. Come over here.
Somebody gonna
Look at that nigga.
start doing bets. Like, like if you was the Flash, you know how many foot races that you would be in? How many times we run in the hood and just race each other? Like, imagine that, like barbecue. You got unlimited speed. Yeah, at some point you could be like, bet 20 that I can beat you. Like, it's gonna be that at some point.
You know what I like? I like The Boys on Amazon.
That was a good one.
That shit makes me laugh.
Yeah,
I haven't seen all of the second season yet, but the first season with Jesse T. Usher, like just that idea of what would happen if the Flash bumped into somebody while moving at 300,000. Yeah, they would get obliterated.
the fact that that was the opening scene. I was like, I one because it raises and answers so many questions at the same time. Because when it happens, you like, what the heck? And you like, I never even thought about that. Like, yes, this is exactly what would happen if you just ran through somebody. Like, that was a really great opening scene. And like you said, the writing of that show was amazing.
The thing that made that scene so beautiful to me, that season, and again, I haven't seen the second season, but I would put the first season of The Boys up against any show that you love that you think is a GOAT show. If we're just talking about a GOAT season of television, because the other thing that scene did, The Shield did it as well on FX, but
I just love the show.
that scene with The Boys, that incident literally is the inciting action for the entire season.
Yep.
It's not just something to show you just to establish that, ooh, shit crazy on this show. Anyway, here's what we're really gonna be dealing with.
Right.
No, because he did that, it led to this and
Mhm.
this guy and this person getting involved and this person, and they want revenge. And
Yeah.
like it became a really, really huge thing. And I think that's really dope. Like the Shield, it's been long enough. I can spoil the
Yeah.
pilot, but
Boy, man.
group of dirty cops being dirty for the right reasons,
Yeah.
for what started out as a
Started out.
lot of the right reasons. And they had a new nigga on their team that wasn't with the dirt, so they killed him.
Yeah.
And the rest of the entire fucking series is them constantly trying to get from underneath that, the
Yeah.
consequences of the act. 7 seasons of television,
Yeah.
all tied to the first episode.
Yeah.
That shit is not easy to do, coach.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was really good. And it kind of a good transition. So what that first season and that first scene in The Boys actually reminded me of those crazy ass intros that you guys be having on This Is Not Happening.
Ah,
Because like those intros, so I'm like, like what is going on here?
yeah,
But I want to let you know, one, any
that show.
anytime that anybody says they love comedy, I ask them, have you seen this series? If not, here is the whole playlist, binge it all. Because those comedians and the way that the stories are told, and just kind of like, I don't know, I've found so many new comedians and fell in love with that platform so much. Like, it is one of my go-to like playlists that I share.
I like that show, and I was happy to have an opportunity to host a couple seasons because storytelling is such a beautiful art form. And for a show like that to exist during short attention span
Yeah.
theater that we're in now, it's very unique. It occupied a very unique space. It also did a lot better online than it did on air.
I never
And
seen it
that's
on here.
because, yeah, it used to come on TV, but it came on Friday nights at 11 o'clock. Ain't nobody, you ain't checking for shit on Friday night
Right.
on Comedy Central. You out of the club.
Right.
So there's there's an opportunity to take an idea or a thought and really string it out. And at the end of the day, we're all just telling stories, whether it's through music or film or television or comedy, or you telling them, you showing a couple sketches, whatever you're doing, it's informing people, man.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was pretty dope. Like I said, I got introduced to so many new comics from it. Like I love that platform. That's one thing, black people in comedy, we love our comedy. And so it's like just being able to hear some people and just hear some of the stories that they told, and a lot of those stories are true stories. One of the things that I do love about that show as well is that how a lot of the stories, there's like the message behind the actual true story. Because like some of these stories are painful stories, but as a comedian, you guys are trained and built
Sorry, that's my mama. She don't want none.
you guys are trained and built to take pain and turn it into something, turn it to gold and everything like that. And I think that that's really like, something that like I really connected with, like, people like Joey Diaz or, Ali
Coco.
Sadiq, stuff like you start hearing like their stories. And these are real life, like, these are not as good stories, but they're good stories, I guess. Like it's kind of like a double entendre. And I think that that is what's really dope about that show and that platform. And I thought, like I said, when they did hand it off to you, I was excited because I'm like, oh shit, Roy over here. And, I've seen you on there, but to see the host, that was dope.
Yeah, it's different because the OG host Ari Shafir, that whole series started from a live show that he used to do in LA back in the day. And Ari's lived a much different existence than me. I'll just say it like that. Like, he's way more wild, way more sex, drugs, and rock and roll,
Yeah,
you know. But then as I started looking back at my life, I was like, nah, I've learned a couple lessons and it's been some, yeah, yeah, I should tell the story about the time them niggas tried to pay us in cocaine. That would be fun. Like, and figuring out ways to connect
yeah,
that story to what, other people are going. Because ultimately, that the cocaine story is just about, should you trust someone that you don't know?
yeah.
It's just a story of trust. Like,
Right.
that's it. So, that's what I tried to play with when I'm up there, man.
Another thing that you pop up on a regular that I became a super fan of is the Impractical Jokers. Anytime that I see you with those guys, I get excited about it because those guys are hilarious to me. And then to come find out like you guys are like truly like you guys got like a little brotherhood. I was like, man, that is so dope. So just even to see you on there, um, but your connection to the comedy world, I think what I'm really proud about when I like see you on stuff is that you can't be put in a box. Like you can be on the Daily Show, then you can be on, Comic View, even though we don't have it anymore, but something like that. Like
Yeah.
your spectrum, it can reach Middle America, it can reach the hood, and I think that that is kind of in sense what we're trying to do with our podcast is showing like yes, these black geeks, but we can reach everywhere. And so it's like I get inspired when I see certain people do things, and you are one of the people because of how far your reach goes across the world. And I think that that's super dope.
Man, I appreciate it, brother. All I'm out here trying to do is show black folks that we ain't alone and feeling in what we're going through and educate everybody else on what the fuck is happening with us and our people.
So you got a new podcast coming up. So let's get into some brass tack stuff that you're working on. But you have a podcast, Roy's Job Fair, where you're speaking with people, and they're pretty much telling their stories about their jobs or jobs that they work. Correct?
It boils down to this, bro. You either love your boss, you gonna slap the shit out your boss. You looking for a new boss, or you trying to, work to be your own boss.
Right.
Those are pretty much the four quadrants of employment.
Yeah.
You love your job, you hate your job, you need a new job, or you need a job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you trying to provide jobs. I just talk to regular everyday people that fall into one of them four buckets every week. And the cool thing is that we also get to chop it up with people that are actually hiring, for companies where they work. And 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna live where the fuck these people are,
Right.
but it could give you an idea of where to look because there's always an industry shift. Like we spoke with a woman, and this is crazy to think about as work that's needed, but it is essential. Domestic abuse went up during COVID because everybody locked up with each other.
Right.
So the need for domestic violence workers went up.
Right.
If you're good with helping people and you care about people, and that's and being able to carry somebody's weight or carry somebody's pain, I bet you the shelter where you live could use an extra set of hands, and I bet you they got the money because a lot of that stuff is state funded. So it's conversations like that. But then it's also talking to a dude who got fired because he cussed out his manager for making out with a girl in the freezer at Captain D's. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that, man. But yeah, we're just having funny conversations with real folks, and every now and then we drop in some knowledge about employment.
Oh, if you ever need a conversation about somebody who's a call center manager, I'm your guy. I got stories galore right now. I'm in that weird shift of I'm working a job, but I'm also chasing my dream. So it's just like, but I still have some crazy ass stories. So if you ever need that, just shoot me a holler. I'm definitely down for in regards to that. You also got a new special coming up though as well.
Yeah, man, I got to get back on the road and start grinding, bro.
Man, how
We back at it.
before you get into your special, I do want to ask, how have you been managing during COVID, not being able to bless that stage?
The I have other outlets, so you got to, as an entertainer, comedians especially, you got to find other outlets. You got to find other places, and for me, it was scripts and this podcast. Like those are the two places where like, oh, I can run my mouth over there and be funny, and I can write a TV show and see if I can sell it. That'd be cool. Like that's been kind of my outlet, for the most part. But I still miss the stage. That's the bare, like these Zoom shows, that stuff is cool. Like you and me, we can have a conversation in a box because I don't need to reach your body language. But if I'm telling a joke,
Right.
I need to see everything that's happening with your face and your body at the same time. And I'm anxious to get back out. That's part of why I agreed to do the hour special because that means you
Right.
got to go back out the house now.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about it. You didn't drop the name of it yet, correct?
No name until I get the jokes ironed out, and then the name kind of becomes the umbrella under which the ideology of the special,
Ah, I bet. Okay.
lives under.
But this one's going to be on Comedy Central as well, though, correct?
Yeah, correct. That'll be a Comedy Central and a Paramount Plus app.
Nice. Oh,
Shameless plug.
hey, we got to get them. I haven't. That's the one app that on all these streaming apps, that's one of the things that I haven't dove into yet with Paramount Plus. But I know they got some dope things coming. So
Yeah, I mean it's only been around a month or two, so it'll take you some time. I wasn't fucking with Disney Plus out the gate,
right.
and then Soul dropped, and I was like, let me go and watch this black ass Pixar movie and support these people. Go and do that real quick.
All right, so at one of the segments that we do get into, top fives, and right. So with the world and now because I know that you said you didn't have the comic books, but from what I'm seeing, like you do have a good vast knowledge of the comic book world now because you do those recaps, which are be killing me when you're doing like you'll recap like all of the Avengers, or you did a recap on Game of Thrones and all the seasons and everything. So I want to get from you, who are your top five superheroes currently?
Ugh. Top five. Let me just rattle off some and then name them. Does Wolverine count as a
Yep,
current?
Wolverine count. If you count,
What about
it doesn't have.
Iron Man?
It could be just in general. Your top five in general doesn't have to be in order.
Top dead. What about top dead? um, shit, bro. I can talk all this shit, but I can't. Like, give me Black Panther.
Okay.
Off the rip. Oh, I like Luke Cage, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
I
got Luke.
like I like Luke Cage as a
Now we Luke Cage or
superhero.
Luke
I
Rage.
know that
Luke
was.
Rage out here doing some things too.
Oh no, not Luke Rage. That's a whole nother conversation. Uh, Luke Cage. I fucks with Daredevil.
Okay.
I do like Daredevil. Um, I don't know, bro. Like
Oh, you
that's it, like I've
technically can
always loved Wolverine. So, I've always loved Wolverine. Um, I do think hmm, sidebar, I don't consider Batman a superhero. I consider him a rich man with resources.
That's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
I I need to see one more Aquaman film before I'm all in, but I enjoyed what they did with the first one. Um, Magneto.
Ah, I can throw yeah, I can see
I
Magneto.
rock with Magneto.
Magneto's like an anti-hero. I can throw people.
Magneto wasn't fucking with y'all till y'all killed his family. And then he had to start putting that thigh out on y'all.
All right, so one thing that I do like to ask
Trying
comedians,
to get some freedom.
right? Trying to get some freedom. One thing I do like
Mhm.
to ask comedians because it usually comes with some good stories. Top 5 cities that you performed in, and again, it doesn't have to be in order.
Cleveland, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Atlanta, Denver, neck and neck. I think I'll say Atlanta,
Okay,
but Chattanooga, bro. I might have to go back and shoot an hour special in Chattanooga one day, bro.
it was that good.
That shit was. I ain't never forgot it. Chattanooga and Cleveland. And I'm from Birmingham and I love the crib, but they don't be laughing at me like that because I'm too familiar,
Yeah,
you know.
that's how it be.
But Cleveland, bro. Oh yeah,
Okay, that's dope. That's super
yeah.
dope. All right, so the last thing that we do before we get out of here, we do recommendations. It could be something that you're reading, you're watching, that you're doing, or with just something that you think that our listeners and viewers should get into.
I would recommend downloading Roy's Job Fair, available wherever you get. That's too easy. Um, the art of effective communication. Hang on, I'm gonna give you the real name of this bitch. I'm gonna get shit. I'm on airplane mode because my mama keep calling me. There it is. Effective communication skills.
Okay,
It's a long ass audio book, man, but it just breaks down basically it just make you a people whisperer on how to talk to people, how to deal with people, how to deflect bad energy when people coming at you, how to manipulate people into giving you what you want without offending. Like it's dope. It'll help you professionally and it'll help you in your personal life as well.
awesome. I tell every time I got to give this little spill, but what I find so dope is I've interviewed so many people over this past year and a half, and all the Black people that I've interviewed recommended either a book or audio book, and I think that's so dope because of how stereotypical they try to put us in that box.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
People need to go out there and get some knowledge.
right, and I think that's so fucking dope because I'm like, look here, like, yeah, y'all thought we gonna replicate me? Oh, you gotta go watch New Jack City. No, we giving y'all books and shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that is really, really dope and everything. So, man, like I said, thank you for continuing on that phase and everything like that. So, where can my people find you at, man?
Man, my name's Roy Wood Jr. Put an @ sign in front of it or a .com behind it. It's just that simple. And if you can't find me off of that information, you too stupid to fuck with me.
Hey, I like that little slogan. Put an @ sign in
Respectfully.
front of it or a .com behind it. That was a pretty clean ass slogan, man.
That's who I am, man. My name ain't changed. I'm one of the easiest people to find on the internet.
Well, man, I do appreciate your time, man. I do love it, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This has been 1-on-1 with Deuces. I've been Deuces. This has been the amazing Roy Wood Jr. And we are out. Peace. You like that video? Man, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. We got so many more videos on our page, so make sure you check them out over here. Hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell so that way you can always be notified anytime we release a new video. You already know how Geekset get down. We got so much coming for y'all, man. Check it out. Stay in tune.